Let me bring in Dan Arbell, former Deputy Chief of Mission at the Israeli Embassy in Washington, D.C., and also Jess Cartalia, who's live for us in Doha, Qatar this morning. Good morning to both of you. Dan, if I could just start with you. These are the first face-to-face talks between the U.S. and Iran since this war began over 40 days ago. The two sides have made demands, nothing that either country would realistically agree to, it seems. How optimistic are you that this weekend leads to any sort of breakthrough?
I'm optimistic because I think that both the U.S. and Iran are looking for an off-ramp, are looking for a halt in the fighting and possibly ending this. So I think that they'll obviously try, each side will try and get the best they can, and it often, the interests clash. But I do think that cool heads at the end will prevail, and I do believe that they will reach understandings despite the wide gaps that exist at this point. I think the U.S. really Trump signaled that he's ready for this. The Iranians certainly need this time to regroup, reorganize, recover, and so I do think that we're going to see things moving in the right direction. Of course, the Israel-Lebanon issue is still unresolved, but I believe that it will be resolved in the coming days.
Yeah, Jess, that's exactly what you and I were talking about before we even went live early this morning, is everything seems contingent on how Israel handles these Hezbollah strikes in Lebanon. How much of a role is Israel's bombing playing in peace negotiations this weekend?
Marking a significant role. So everything from the Strait of Hormuz to how the talks will go this weekend. Iran, once the Strait of Hormuz closed down, if the bombings continue, they have essentially closed the strait a few times. Because of that, also at this point, it's just like that slow trickle of a couple ships that are going through. Regarding the negotiations tomorrow, President Trump has come out and said, look, can we slow down the amount of bombs that are coming through? He told the media that he spoke with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, asking him to slow his roll when it comes to the amount of bombs hitting. But still, we're seeing more and more continuing to attack those in Beirut and throughout Lebanon. So we saw 250 people killed the other day, another 180 the next day after that, 1 million displaced, thousands in the hospital. The hospitals, Marky, are overwhelmed. So, saying one thing and doing another, that's basically what's happening here.
Dan, to be a fly on the wall in talks between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu right now, I'm curious what you think those sound like, because the U.S. and Israel insist that they are in lockstep on everything here. But at a certain point, does Israel's tactics risk undermining U.S. efforts for wider regional stability, you think?
Well, they do, but I do believe that in the dynamics between Trump and Netanyahu, certainly Trump has shown in the last few years and certainly in the last few months that when he wants something to be done, then Netanyahu follows suit. And that when he makes the call, Netanyahu follows. So I do believe that Trump just needs to be more firm with Netanyahu and making clear to him that if he continues with the fighting in Lebanon, things may go sour. So certainly, it may be also allowing Netanyahu some face-saving mechanism because, vis-a-vis Israeli public opinion, as Netanyahu promised a victory, and we're not there, of course. So I think that we will see in the coming hours, perhaps overnight, a slowdown in Israeli activities, all the way down to perhaps ending these hostilities soon.
Yeah, Jess, the other piece of the puzzle that this all seems to be contingent upon is the Strait of Hormuz as well. I know President Trump said late last night on Truth Social just about the trickle of ships going through. He said Iran is doing a very poor job, dishonorable, some may say, of allowing oil to go through the Strait of Hormuz. This is not the agreement that we have. What's your read on what the ships out there are doing right now? Is there a huge buildup of them just outside of the strait, just waiting for the green light to go through? And also, how worried are they about their safety if they were to even get the green light that it was back open again?
Right. So in answer to your first question, yes, there is a backup. There's kind of this bottleneck, right? Typically, we see more than 100 ships passing through a day, and then now we're seeing fewer than a dozen. Then there was talk that Iran was going to charge them in cryptocurrency for safe passage. Then Oman, which you also see at the bottom of your screen there, says, you can't do this because it's a natural strait, right? So you can't essentially tax somebody or charge somebody to go through. So that's where we are at this point. Regarding the president's message as to, they're not playing by the rules, I think Iran's message to that is, okay, well, you didn't include Lebanon in this ceasefire agreement. So there's a lot of discussion on multiple fronts. But yes, in answer to your question, Marky, there is quite a bottleneck.
I have to end things there, but Jess Cartalia live for us in Qatar. Thank you, Dan Arbell. Really appreciate your time and perspective as always. Thank you, sir. And we'll check back in here soon after the weekend. We'll see where it gets us. Okay.